Less than a minute gone and they are inches away. Doughty will stumble, then he will hand it on. Looks how close they are and they have gone over. Within a minute, we said Onkaparinga would come out quickly. They have, and that is the first try of the game. Watson will go and straight, make half a yard afterwards. Now look at Pingo, and Tilaki will go over. Tilaki will score. Burnside in red time. And again to Adcock. Adcock will find Finney. Finney will put the foot down. Finney, I think he's got over.
Gibson's made the gap. Here we go. Look at that. Yeah, good movement. Great move, just good running line. Paddy. Oh, here we go. Big gap.
Big gap. Oh,
Well done.
well done. He tried to twist it.
He will turn around. Now he's going to put the toe down. He's going to take the shield. He'll go over the left-hand corner. Right, really going to push away now. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to a very chilly Collegians Oval, where we are about to see Old Collegians take on Burnside. As you joined us, there was a minute's silence. That's for James Rorsheim, number 10. Scored the winning try in the Old Collegians first 15 Premiership team in 1991. He was a delight to coach. So I'll just read out the message from Michael Van Berg. Absolutely devastated to just be advised of the sad death of James Rorsheim. My young, brilliant number 10 who scored the winning try in the Old Collegians first 15 Premiership team in 1991. James was a wonderful man to coach. He was a delight to coach and went on to study medicine in the Royal Australian Navy and later was an orthopaedic surgeon in Sydney. James died peacefully with his family by his side in Sydney. Heartfelt condolences from everyone at Rugby Union South Australia, from Spacequake Sports, obviously from Old Collegians Rugby Club as well, and the whole rugby community. Rest in peace. That aside, rugby will continue. The Old Collegians team are wearing the dark armbands today, the black armbands, and I'll be joined in commentary by the one and the only Chris Killick. Good afternoon, Chris.
Good afternoon, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. We'll get through today. I'm sure it will be absolutely fine. There is a stiff breeze, and the showers are coming, and they will keep coming. Of the day, the sun is going to come, the sun is going to go. We're going to get everything. It's going to be like a Crowded House song today. 4 seasons, all of them. We are underway. The Gary Mann will start us off over on that far side. And Old Collegians will go first with David Emily. Then it will come out, and then we will start to look. McQueen, who made a return after scoring a couple of tries down at Woodville, will take over from Chris Bartlett, who's committed the absolutely mortal sin of getting married during rugby season. I'm sure you are watching, Chris. I think he's over in Fiji.
Allegedly.
Well, thank you for joining us, Chris. But first scrum of the day, didn't get that maul to ground. So we'll get to see the scrums for the first time. Will be a Burnside ball. Out to the left. Into midfield, and Meredith returning, coming into that full-back role, coming back from a quad injury, I think. Didn't see him play any reserve grade today or any third grade today, so straight back into the starting lineup.
Yeah, his warm-up was reffing the under-16s here this morning. So he was looking for a run out there to see how he went. So
they're going to kick to touch. Chris Hodgson, who's played that 10 role very, very well. And we'll find that down there. Now we know Burnside do have dangerous line-out work. Do find it best to compete with it at times. Nigel Lemsam is there, and he'll enter that usual half-back role of his in the lineup. Noticeable change from the last time we saw Burnside play as Chris Walton is moved down to the second grade. Blair Marshall will get it in the middle, and the ball is transferred. Old Collegians do stop it going forward, but it will roll round to the left-hand side. Then Lamsam will come away from it, bearing down on the try line. A couple of players have to deal with him. Very, very close to that try line. Then they will look out to the left, and they will get over. Carlos Ronaldo is there. He's on his knees, and that will be the first one. Very, very short amount of time on the Wojtek scoreboard, and Burnside, from that penalty, from that line-out, from the driving maul, tack on 5 points. Not the greatest start for the men in red and blue.
no, not what was expected, to be honest with you. But there you go, time to get up and go again.
So one of the things we talking about conditions. So as far as the breeze goes, and it's gusty, it's not a continuous breeze, but it's a very, very cold gust. It's basically blowing out of your screens. If you imagine, it's as we look right across the pitch, it's right in our faces. The other thing is as well is South Australia and generally is very, very dry. So when we have a big rain like we've had over the last couple of days, it just kind of sits on the surface.
Absolutely.
So standing foot is going to be an issue for Mr. Hodgson. Standing foot for kickers all day.
Yeah, we've been lucky because it's been showery today, so it has had time to soak away, but it was very wet this morning first thing.
He's pushed that one away, and I think I did just see a slight slip. I like it when I'm right. Doesn't happen very often. And you will hear the rain start to fall for the first time today, and I can almost guarantee it won't be the last. We had a little hailstorm as well in the reserve grade game.
Certainly saw the crowd run to the clubhouse.
So a low driven kick, Marshall will collect it. Down into midfield again for Burnside. Meredith getting his hands on the ball early. Good, quick recycle from Burnside. Back into midfield. Meredith in the first receiver, hands it over to Blair Marshall. Marshall dealt with on and around the 10-metre line, then they will send it out to Lamsam. Lamsam sort of half tackled by Dawes, and then the rest of the Old Collegians come in. Yeah. The wind is blowing through and the rain is blowing through. They haven't stayed for long though, the showers. That one is knocked forward. So, another scrum down. This one is an Old Collegians ball. Over on that far side in front of the clubhouse, and you have that patio area, which is probably the most popular spot today, you would think, wouldn't you?
Yeah, very much so. Very much so. It's nice and warm because the barbecue's in there as well with the Bay Marie, so it keeps everybody warm.
So Old Collegians will win that one. It will come out the back. Smedley will send it into midfield. McQueen will pop it off to Fleetwood Piper. Fleetwood Piper tries to send it out to Curtin. Just couldn't get it. Fingertip stuff. But see, McQueen touched the ball a couple of times. Both times he's been very, very dangerous. Good quick hands. Knock on from Curtin. We talked about Curtin before we started today. He has done some absolutely wonderful stuff in an Old Collegians shirt this year. We saw it last time we were here, which was the last time we broadcast. It feels like it.
Against Brighton, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like
2
a
weeks
long, long
ago,
time
yeah.
ago. It was only 2 weeks.
Yep.
He did some absolutely wonderful stuff, but, it's a terrible but, we just talk about a couple of things and a couple of mistakes, and we're being probably overly harsh on him, but, you know, they're the things that coaches look at and stuff like that. He got run down when he played Burnside at Burnside.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of awareness, and then just a little bit of a brain explosion with the quick tap penalty. But we talked about that. That's his sevens background, where they tap basically everything.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the positives outweigh the negatives. But all we remembered for the two negative parts for Stone.
That's, I'm assuming that the Premier's on the back of the jersey for Burnside means that it's Premier grade. I'm going to assume.
Just in case they didn't
Just in case they ordered it too early last year. We'll get confirmation of that. Like the good old Liverpool Champions League bus. Someone always gets a photo of that. Anyway, down the blind side they go. Then they will come out onto this near side. You'll notice that Sam Tanaki isn't patrolling this wing. He's gone back to Tonga. So that's Keanu Alipa,
yeah,
out there. Obviously a youngster coming through. Lamsam will take on another couple. A little bit scrappy, but it's going to come out into midfield. Hodgson will decide he will want to have a little bit of a rumble. Finds it there, but turned over. Excellent steal. I think that's Andrew Burgess who got there. Then it will go out to the right-hand side. Put on the floor. Diving attempt to stop, which did well from Sambrook. Now Burnside have the ball. What can they do down that left-hand side? They try and get away. Tackle made in front of that Old Collegians bench. We're actually a lot more comfortable under here. And I have to say as well, it looks worse on your screen. It's not, it's bad, but it's not
worse
that
on the
bad.
microphone as well.
Yeah.
I think bad as the mic.
Right in front of that Old Collegians bench, and we did see a little grimace from Mr. Arnold. Not entirely sure he dealt with, he completely agreed with Carlos. So, Old Collegians line out on the 10. What have they got? They'll go to the middle to Graham, but it gets stolen out of the air. Then it will come into midfield. Then it will be fired across. Going to be difficult to deal with as it bounces away, and will go into touch, so it'll be an Old Collegians ball. Thought about the quick one. Everyone kind of said, hang on a second. Let's settle down before we get too excited. Impressive foot skills from Mr. Pinar, our assistant referee, on this near side.
A lovely little toe
Just
chip.
flicking it up. So, it's not Aloe Emily.
This is Nick Howlett.
So Nick Howlett will throw it into the line, and then it was thrown into midfield. I like to see that they're still trying to pass. Gary Mann brings it back to where the forwards are patrolling. Beats through a couple of tackles, rolls over halfway. Smedley just ships it on into midfield. Lamsam makes another little dart into midfield. I'll do my best to describe the action because I don't know how much of it you can see.
Are we wide out?
It's pretty close to it. Our camera operator's doing absolutely fantastic work up there.
Well, we've got the lights coming on now, so
might make it a little bit better, but the good thing about it is it's a strong wind, so it shouldn't take too long to blow over, but there's nothing but grey.
This blue sky out to sea though.
This is about as good as it gets. We're basically radio commentary at the moment. The players aren't overly enthused about this, but we just get on with it. Geez, I've played in days like this.
The backs will be calling for umbrellas soon.
Yeah. Not a good day for wingers. Right, Smedley will put it into the scrum.
Oh wow.
Old Collegians scrum going backwards. Has to be picked up. Man does pick it up. Old Collegians will set up a ruck just inside the Burnside half. Little pop and go from David Aloe Emily. rumbling a little bit further forward. Smedley on the 10-metre line will send it out to the right-hand side. Now they will start to make a break over there on the far side. Then Smedley again will send it out to the right to Fleetwood Piper. Takes a couple with him. Then he will set it up. Back into midfield. Sends it one more in. Someone's come on with a sub-shirt on.
Yes, Alex Eames, I think.
Then it will come one more out again. And short rugby. Smedley out to the left-hand side. Dawes will take on the winger in Alipa. Think it's a maul. Oh, Alipa was the first one in there, so he's full rights to be where he is. Now it's collapsed. If it doesn't come out, it's going to be a Burnside ball. It is a Burnside ball. we talked about showers. We thought we were going to have showers, and the showers...
This is monsoon.
It's just turned into a downpour. It is. South Australian rugby at its absolute finest. I tell you what, though, we will have some absolutely wonderful replays. Because this week is the, hopefully, the rugby debut of the super slow motion replay. As that's Lamsam, who's on the floor. My notes are now saturated, so apologies if I get names wrong. Oh, is that Lamsam? Is it Lamsam who's taking his time getting up? Can't quite see. Yep, it is Lamsam, yeah. It's hard to tell because he has a different haircut every time I see him. There's no consistency with Nigel. So scrum down, inside the 22, so they can clear from here. Rain abates a little bit.
You reckon?
A little bit. I did say a little bit. Tap's only half on now.
I'm acting as a rain break for you, Dave.
Not a very good one. So Burnside ball, in the scrum it goes. At the back of the scrum. Hodgson is kind of in the pocket. Where he's going to go. Out to that far side. Wynn's going to hold it up and keep it in the middle. Fleetwood Piper underneath it has Curtin to his left. Curtin will look for a spot, then just put it on the boot. Bounces around, takes a little bit of an Old Collegians bounce, but was eventually sorted out by Joe Ashenford. Out to the left-hand side. Alipa finds a gap, almost gets through it. Eames does very, very well and will drag him down literally by his shirt tails. Then it will come out to this left-hand side, right-hand side for Burnside. Gary Mann trying to rip it away. Doesn't quite get hold of all of it. Then it will send it. Then they will send it infield. Gary Mann did not beat that clear out. So he was sat down well and truly.
Oh.
Over halfway, Lamsam makes it over halfway. Burnside will look out to the right with Marshall, steps back inside. Again, another jackal attempt, just didn't quite get there. Mr. Campion doing everything he can, His Royal Highness, the King of Green Hill Road. Then they will go right again. Smedley barking, get off the line. He is met just behind the gain line, bobbled around at the back. Then it will work towards the 10-metre line. Ashenford sends it out, one more. Hodgson finds himself in the second receiver point and then finds himself engulfed by Old Collegians.
Get it.
Again, they will work out to their right. Marshall again at first receiver. Gets dealt with by Andrew Burgess. They like this right side, a little pick and go. Jesh Graham got him enough. Lamsam does what Lamsam does. Comes in at halfback, then goes through the middle. Marshall, can he get his arms free? He can't. Stolen. Well, called a knock on by Carlos
feet,
and
yeah.
sealed in, and I think he did eventually. He did just drop on
his
the other
feet,
side of that ball.
Oh. Should we hug?
I don't know. Problem is, when the rain comes sideways, the cover we're in doesn't really help.
No.
So, a line out to Burnside. Last time they had a line out in this position, they tacked on 5 points to your brand new scoreboard.
Yeah, up for the Brighton game. This is the second outing.
The kids absolutely love it. It's controlled by a laptop over in that.
Absolutely.
And they love all the animations and all of that stuff.
We're trying to get the Running Man going on it next.
If we go quiet, it's because our monitor is just sat in a puddle of water at the moment. So Lamsam all the way out the back to Lamsam. So is Old Collegians scrum inside the 22. Old Collegians, you would think, would just clear it from here.
Gotta win the ball first.
And Burnside have put a lot of pressure on. Just trying to see where it is. It's bouncing around and bobbling around at the back of there, and Old Collegians will have it.
Dave's got it.
Oh, he just smashed it into the pack. Meredith will be first there. Slides almost baseball-like and beats the first tackle. Then he's met by a couple of Old Collegians just on the 22. What can they do now? Ashenford looks to his left, finds Hodgson. Hodgson will ship it one more. Just a little run around the corner. Then they finally get it out onto that left-hand side. Fraser Green working hard out there. Move from the centres to the wing, I think, Fraser. Last time we saw Burnside play, he didn't cover himself in glory in the centres, so still a very good player, though. Hodgson again. Now we'll attack the line. It's Jacob Devlin with him. Ashenford has to go digging for it a little bit. Then we'll send it out to the left-hand side. Marshall puts his head down. Got through a heap of work so far.
See, Chris Pasika's joined the fray now.
Out into midfield. Well, not quite midfield, didn't get that far. Still working down that channel. Lamsam will show, then go. Makes it into the 22. Ashenford there again, out to Meredith. Meredith will send it one more onto Alippa. Alippa will pop it out the back. And Sambrook looked to ship it on to nobody in particular. So, nearly 20 minutes gone on the Wojtek scoreboard. And that is 20 minutes gone, and it's only 5 points so far, but we would probably expect that in the conditions today.
Can't see it being a high scorer, but hey, let's probably just put the kiss of death on that.
Yeah, here's 80 points. So David Allo Emily in midfield, shakes through the first one, then carries the Burnside player with him up towards that 10-metre line. Smedley sends it out into midfield, out into McQueen. Works really hard, McQueen has incredibly quick feet, and it will go out one more to Curtin. Curtin holds his feet till his support gets there. Support gets there eventually. Smedley back out. Nice little slip pass out the back.
Oh.
I don't think that is Fraser Morrison wearing the number 7, is it?
Yeah, it is.
That is Fraser Morrison?
Yeah, it's Fraser. Chris Paseka's come on now for Alex Eames. Taking the ball now.
So I think that's Aloe Emily who's at number 8 today, is that?
No, that's Chris Paseka.
That's Chris Paseka in the number 8 shirt. Apologies to Chris Paseka for...
David's wearing 3.
There we go. So out on that far side, I think that was McQueen who made a couple of yards. Then they will come to Dawes. Dawes will just take on Marshall. Marshall did enough. Smedley gets it out quickly. Out to Paseka. Just pops it inside to Campion. There's a Burnside player in there. It's scrappy and it's slow. Smedley will send it out.
Oh.
But there is a penalty. Sealing off. There's a couple of sealing off penalties that Burnside have conceded. Oh. Sorry if you can hear me rubbing my hands, I apologise. It's cold. I'm sure the temperature wouldn't look too bad if we looked at the weather, but it's that wind chill. Busby inside ball. And Smedley again will look to the left. Paseka will ship it on then, so will Curtin. A little bit behind the winger, but he managed to sort himself out. Just settle it down again. I think Old Coals are kind of going backwards now. My team sheets have become papier-mâché. So I'm flying blind somewhat. High kicked. Picked up by Fraser Green. He's just happy to fire it down towards the Old Collegians 22. So a line out on the 22 for Old Collegians. Another red zone entry, really, for Burnside. We have played most of the game to the right of us. Short ball to Mann, can't get away. Then we'll send it to Burgess. Burgess couldn't find anybody else. Ball will go down. McQueen will pick it up, pop it out the back to Smedley. Busby will send it on to Paseka. Paseka runs through the first one, has it stolen off him for the second one. Is a flag out, and I did think that one was a little bit high, and I did see a notification from the AR on this near side, so I think we're probably going to come back. But the penalty is the penalty, so no gain either way. So Old Collegians will be able to relieve a little bit of pressure. Needs to make touch, doesn't make touch. Alippa runs hard and straight back, beats the first one. Can't beat Graham though, then loses it forward. Atkins cleans it up. Mann sends it into Curtin. We've shown how dangerous Curtin is with an open field. Just floats that one out to McQueen. McQueen equally dangerous, beats the first one, then just runs hard and straight into the second one. Out on that far side, another one. Pops out the back, Fleetwood Piper has to clean it up. He will send it out to Busby, I think. So again it comes outdoors to Smedley. Smedley will send it on to Paseka. Paseka gets his hands free, gives it to Aloe Emily. Aloe Emily thought about the pass and then thought he didn't want to and just rumbled forward for another couple. Dawes, hard and straight but met and driven backwards a little bit. Then Dawes will have to deal with Lamsam. Another whistle.
Inside offside.
Well, there we go. Offside. Now the call from our left, from the venerable Mr. Figuer, Michael Figuer, who's a staunch Burnside man, said how many phases. And we should at some point really try and get into the advantage rule. We've touched on it a couple of times as that one goes over the head. And while we have this little bit of time, advantage has nothing to do with time. It has nothing to do with phases. It has to do with advantage.
Advantage in the game line, basically. Yeah.
And essentially the rule of thumb is, have you got what you would have got if we gave you the penalty? So with a penalty, unless you're getting something 40 yards down the field, then an advantage can go forever.
Absolutely.
Burgess will straighten and run hard at midfield. Smedley looks out to the left, just teased Busby with the knock on, but Curtin will have to clean it up. And he does so, and we see that almost signature ball placement from Curtin. It is very, very sevens. He's got to be careful that he's not done for sealing off. There's a little pop to McQueen. Good offload. McQueen trying to shake his way through. Doesn't quite make it all the way through. Smedley sends it out to the right. Busby fires it across. Dawes will find Man. Man, one-on-one. Gives it out to Piper.
Yeah.
Piper will score.
Signature.
Sliding over in the corner. That's what we score tries like on a wet day. Get on your front. Good try. So 5-all on the Wojtek scoreboard. Kick to come. Have Old Collegians fixed their kicking woes?
Not sure who's kicking today, Dave, but we'll find out very shortly.
It looks like Curtin is there or thereabouts.
Yep. Looks like he's lined up.
I'm yet to see a T come out. If he drop goals it, then
drop goal, sevens, yeah.
it's all sevens. So the ball has come out. Still no T.
Now the T's
Mr. Curtin's not overly interested in the ball.
The T's in the right hand, so. King Jack.
Yeah, that is King Jack that you can hear. What was he saying? Worry about what we can worry about. Don't worry about the outside.
Not to worry about the weather.
No. Phil Jones and Johan Pine-Pinar are the assistant referees. Carlos is the man in the middle. I didn't know he coached. Coaches at Old Collegians. I didn't know that.
Who's Carlos?
Carlos, yeah.
Yeah, he coaches.
So Curtin, sends it on its way. Flag stay down. We're still all tied up on the Wojtek scoreboard. 5 points apiece.
Yeah, Carlos coaches the under-18s with Richie Pardo,
And
who had a good win this morning against Burnside.
There was a wonderful moment where I saw Carlos just questioning the referee. Questioning...
Why? Because he can.
Yeah. Questioning vigorously, shall we say, the referee's decision, which I quite enjoyed. So over the back to Paseka, I think it is Paseka.
Yep.
Shakes off the first one, then we'll roll a couple forward. Smedley picks it up. Gives it to Alo Emily. Smedley there again to Busby. Bouncing ball to McQueen. McQueen will just ship it on to Atkins. Atkins will reverse the field, bring it back inside. Support is there. Smedley will send it to Dawes. Knocks that forward. Couple from Dorsey where he's not had the impact he would want. Meredith out there. Give him time and space and he can cause you some issues.
So advantage still being played?
Well, you would like to think so, wouldn't you?
40 back, yeah.
After the last one. I'm not sure what that's for or which way it's going.
I think it was Dorsey's knock on.
Ah, the knock on.
Yeah.
There you go. So scrum down, Old Collegians. I wouldn't mind seeing a Lipper in this Burnside, having a little one-on-one with Atkins and seeing how that works out.
They've both got a bit of pace. Keanu's looking very good today.
He does look very, very exciting. Not someone we've seen before.
Came through the ranks.
He was calling for it and comes out anyway to Hodgson. Inside ball was available, but decided against it. Now we'll just reset over on that far side. Very, very quick penalty from Lamsam. Dealt with by Busby. Interestingly, we've got two forwards who've come outside of a Lipper. Wonder whether that's a structure thing. It's popped out the back though. Illegally. If even the ball carrier is surprised that it's come out on his side, there's more than a 50% chance that it got there illegally.
Same place as the first try.
And they did, I think they missed the target, didn't they, on the second one? So as far as your line-out targets go, they've got a couple in there. One is Blair Marshall, and I'm not sure who the other one is. One that is definitely missing is Callum Walton, who is also away. Holidays during rugby season should be illegal. I think this is
I hope they're in a warm place.
Well, yeah. Think warm thoughts. Anyway, that one didn't hit a target either, but Marshall can rumble it forward a couple of yards. Very, very close to the line. Now they will get closer. Didn't quite get there. Memory serves, it's Sambrook, I think, is the Burnside hooker. He was in there. Carl assumes his position. He loves that position, and he gets to try scoring areas. Another little pick up at the back. Old Collegians standing solid at the moment. Marshall will try and wriggle through a gap. Ashenford out to Hodgson. Hodgson will drop it back inside, and another big strong challenge. That's how close they are. Out to Hodgson. Hodgson will run the angle. Gets met by a couple. McQueen and Atkins will manage to sort him out. Little bit of an overlap on this near side. Still there. Lamsam. Think they got underneath him. Then it will pop out. Still there. Still going. Still numbers down on this right-hand side. Very, very close to that line. Not quite got there yet. Scrambling defence from the men in red and blue. Another little pick and drive. There is enough people there. Bend, do not break is what they say in these areas. Ashenford takes control, sends it to Hodgson. Hodgson will just step back inside. Met by McQueen. Ball's going to come back Burnside way. And then it's knocked forward. Josh Graham will get there, but there's a penalty. Not entirely sure. Will they tap? Will they go back for the lineup? There's a couple of Burnside players. Or is that Hodgson who's slow to get up?
Yeah, that's Chris.
He was hit very, very hard by McQueen. He stepped. He saw a gap, and the gap was filled very quickly by Alex McQueen.
Indeed.
Just trying to see where he's holding. Is it a lower leg issue? It is a lower leg issue, I think. And he's slow to get up. He's a tough cookie, Hodgson, so it's going to hurt.
Chris, yeah, that's very unusual for him. Although he'll be used to this weather, having played in Canberra for a few years.
Oh, they were talking snow in Canberra today.
Were they really?
Yep.
Looks like he's gone.
Oh, that could be a bad one. Are they looking at knee or ankle? I hope it's not knee. Then again, neither one is great, but you'd rather ankle than knee, I think.
Yeah, it's his ankle.
We'll wait and see. I'm not sure, you know, the way he's going off. Not sure whether that's a knee or an ankle. We'll see when he comes back with it taped up. Which one's taped up when he comes back?
Harrison Rahali's just joined the fray, so that's a pretty good interchange.
Yeah, he was playing in the reserve
That's
grade.
right,
Kicks
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're unique in your knowledge. You seem to know both sides, Chris. You're right on top of this.
All
You're
these
right on
youngsters
top of rugby.
Been involved in junior rugby for that long now. You see these juniors come through to the, which is really good to see in the Premier grade.
So have they made a decision? What is it? Have they made a scrum decision? Is that what they're doing with the penalty? Giving themselves a nice, big open field.
It's a big cuddle to keep warm, basically, yeah?
Yeah. Can we come join in? We'll give you some pitch side reporting.
Yeah, if anybody's in the clubhouse watching this, can you bring some heaters over, please?
Yeah, and some towels, umbrellas. So Ashingford puts the ball into the scrum. Looking for the pushover try. Have we seen a pushover try ever on a broadcast? I don't think we have, but Rahali will go first. Get met by Burgess, will roll
first
out.
Touch and a try.
Just squeezes out of the tackle, and over he goes. He's given the try. There's a little bit of a chat. Little bit of a chat between Mr. Pinar and Carlos. And then Mr. Jones will come and give his. And there it is. I didn't see any issue. I saw somebody giving the old rollover thing. Well, you can roll over. If you're not held, roll away.
Right. I think they were calling double movement, but it certainly wasn't double movement.
Well, double movement's another one. Like, we haven't had double movement in rugby for a long, long time.
Still gets called.
It's not a thing.
No, no.
So Rahali will come on and kick. So it's just a 1-for-1 replacement. Oh, is that Fraser Green or is that Hodgson coming back on? That's Fraser Green.
Coming back on, yeah.
Rahali kicks through it, just drives through the weather. That's a good kick as well.
Yeah, looks like Chris is being iced on the bench there.
Can you see where it's being iced?
It's his right leg.
And then we'll cut it down even further when we get a better view. Okay, so Curtin will restart. Again, just drives it towards his touchline. That's a tough one for Marshall, but he does well. Then he's met by Atkins. Ashingford at the back. Sends it out one, then into midfield to Lamsam. Lamsam sends it out. Sorry, Ashingford sends it out. Now they will work into the midfield. Meredith shoves it on one more, and then another big run. That's Jacob Devlin out there, I think. Rahali, first time he's had to ship it on. First touch of the ball was a try. Second touch of the ball was a conversion. Made it 12 points to 5 on the Wojtek scoreboard. Very, very close to half time, I think, which will give us time to reset. Dawes, better carry by Dawes. Beats the first one, rolls through the second one. Smedley out to the right-hand side to Curtin. Curtin will ship it onto McLean. McLean will roll through and offload. Smedley is there again. Sends it into midfield to Busby. Onto Allo Emily. Allo Emily just can't make his way through the first one. But it will reset. Busby, inside ball to Curtin. No room to move for Curtin. And a bobbly old pass out to that right-hand side. Cleaned up eventually. Smedley, all the time in the world now. Busby, made to work a little bit. Then they will send it into midfield.
Well stolen. No,
Oh, it's sealed off. Lamsam walks a tightrope.
Points here?
More, I mean, I would normally say yes.
No, it looks like they're going for the corner.
But when you don't have somebody, I mean, look, what, in my opinion, what should be happening there is your confident goal kicker should be walking up to,
give me the ball,
walking up to Mr. Campion and going, let me kick it. And I think that's part of the issue at Old Coles at the moment, from a kicking point of view, is they don't have anybody who's puffing the chest out enough and going, this is my job, you know? There is talk of Ben Viljoen.
The Phantom.
The Phantom. There is talk of the Phantom starting to put his hand up for that kicking role.
Yeah, Ben's a very good kicker.
So, you know, on a low-scoring day like today, you just keep ticking the scoreboard over.
Yeah, I think Ben's on the bench today.
So they go to the front to Campion. Campion does well with a wet ball, and then will just wriggle his way through a gap. Another little pick and drive.
Again.
And another one. Jesh Graham, big red, working down that right-hand side. And yet another pick and drive. Campion just carrying on the second row brotherhood. still there. Smedley is on the floor, so either see another pick and drive, which we do.
That's very close to the try line now.
It is very, very close. We have lost our monitor, so we're just a little bit unsighted at the moment. Now another little pick and drive out to the right-hand side by Paseka. Now they're going to look to spread it out into midfield. Just a big dummy, and not on purpose, I don't think. It's managed to come all Collegians' way. Now that's how close they are.
Out.
Screaming for it outright, screaming out left.
Doors.
Over the doors. Doors will
Jimmy
open the
Doors.
doors and score. What is the score on the doors? At the moment, it's 10-12 on the Wojtek scoreboard.
G'day, Kim.
We have a cheer from Kim Allen as she wanders back. Well, she doesn't wander, she's
dragged.
She's dragged by a dog, Tonks, which is the biggest dog I've ever seen in my life. So 2 points the difference on the Wojtek scoreboard. Very, very kickable conversion. Should be 12-all by the time this one finishes. And I think as well, if my eyes are good enough, that will be very, very close to half-time. Yes. There's been a couple of stoppages with the injury to Hodgson, at least.
The Cole scoreboard says 42 and 11 seconds at the moment.
So better from all Collegians. A little bit of pick and drive, a little bit of repeat phase. Finally, apologies for the language from the king of Green Hill Raves. Curtin just strokes that one over, and we are all tied up, and we're still going. I thought Carlos was going to use his usual dramatic, let's wait, make you all think we're not going to half-time, and then make it a half-time.
No, he's checking with his linesman.
I think he's just saying, he's probably saying last play.
Last play, yeah.
It is now overcast. That's the patches of blue sky have gone, and the rain has kind of set in a little bit, but it's not as heavy as it has been. So Rahale, what can he do? It is difficult. There's no longer a cricket pitch here.
No, there's not been cricket here for 2-3 years now.
There's still the hangover of it in the middle. Just makes kicking difficult when it's wet. Campion will control that one out into midfield. Then he will go a couple more. Out to McQueen. McQueen will stop, turn back his field, then slow down and look for his space. Then he will straighten. Support comes. Another slow one, just didn't quite get there. Smedley will send it out the back to Curtin. Curtin will put it on the boot. What can they do in this weather? Excellent take by Alipa. Beats the first one. Tries to beat man. Does enough. Comes off the foot. Talk of a knock-on. Box kick, and it was touched. Fleetwood Piper calls the mark, but there's a penalty. Not sure what for. It's not a signal I'm used to seeing, to be perfectly honest.
I think it was an offside signal. But,
was it?
I'm not sure. Although,
don't want to. I don't know that one. I'll have to get my Carlos signal interpretation book updated. So Rahale will push them just to about. Oh, it's outside the 22, but it'll do. Sandbrook, I think, has to go and get the ball as the rain starts to fall heavier again. Carlos, just blow off time. Yeah, let's get everyone in.
Let's go to the changing room for half time, Carlos. Teas and scones all around.
So, line out, just outside the 22, to Burnside. They'll go middle to Marshall. It's a sign of a confident hooker. Throw into the middle on days like today. Can they get going forward? They can. They have a long, long way to go, though, before they get there. Lamsam will slide off the back. Ball will come back their way. Ashenford at the back. Finds Rahale. Rahale will put it on the floor. Nice. Now it's a foot race. Who's going to win the foot race? I think the post won the foot race. Knock on.
That's time.
It's got to be time. Nope. Still not time. There's now another conversation. What's interesting is normally when we do these games, we have a little congregation of people who stand around us to hear the commentary. Right now, we are on our Jack Jones.
The clubhouse is ticket only at the moment.
It looks like a tram on the way home from a city. People getting very upset because they're not letting people out. Let everyone off before you get on. So at 22, we're still going. 46 minutes on your clock. That one is just going to hold forward and be picked up by Lamsam. Lamsam against Atkins and Mann. Atkins wins and then very lazily gets out of there. Just gets a little bit of footwork just to move him. Marshall against Campion and Graham. Triumvirate of second rowers. Oh, and then Lamsam will just knock it forward. Alippa will kick it on. I thought everyone had missed it there. Half time, ladies and gentlemen. Now, normally I would spend a fair old while talking through what we've seen. I'm not going to. We'll come back earlier. We've got a lot of stuff that we need to sort out weather-wise just to make sure that our equipment works. We will be right back after this short break. Thank you for watching this broadcast on Rugby Union, brought to you by Rugby Union South Australia and powered by Space Quick Sports. Welcome back. We have, hopefully, we'll be dry after this one. There we go. Jeez. Now, here's my question, right? Because I've played in conditions like this, and you've played in conditions like this. Going in at half-time, knowing you have to come back out. Phil Jones has been sensible, put a tracksuit top on. He's going to find his way over to us.
Hopefully they've got to change the shirts.
I don't think they have.
No.
Well, that's another thing, like changing your shirt. I mean, you may as well stay in it. It's not going to get any wetter, is it? So we're off and running. Curtin just drives it downfield into the 22. Lipper will carry it out, met by Dawes. Now into midfield. Meredith showed and went, dealt with by Allo Emily and Busby. Out again to the left-hand side for Burnsby. Devlin will roll out of the first one. Then into midfield. Again, they come out to that left-hand side. They seem to favour this near side. Played out towards us in the first half and continuing now. Rahale will put it on the boot. Oh, Curtin just, wet ball got away from him, so it's going to be a Burnside scrum at some point, unless they can get away. Fraser Green rumbles forward a little bit. Ashenford clears up a messy ball. And he's piggybacked to ground by Josh Graham. Now out to the left-hand side. Ashenford out to Marshall. Marshall a little bit upright, has to do a lot of work to get to ground. Gets to ground eventually. Ashenford again to Hodgson. Hodgson just ships it on. Good steal by Old Collegians, and then the box kick, turning Meredith around. Takes a nice bounce, and Meredith has to go and get it. Then we'll send it to his left, and then it goes on the boot again. Straight over the head of man. Bounces nicely for him though. He will beat the onrushing chaser. Then bounce off the first one, and then find his way down towards the 10-metre line. Smedley also out to our side. We'll send it out. Think to McQueen. McQueen just didn't get enough on it. Off goes Green. Foot race. Green versus Piper. Piper this time makes a very, very good tackle. Talking about that covering tackle, actually, I want to talk about the last time we were here as we watched the replay. McQueen just tried to go off to the top of Green. Good hops by Green. And then it's a foot race between him and Piper. Piper had the pace.
And the strength.
Good tackle. He was almost textbook. He was almost textbook on the Tremaine Butler try.
Yeah.
But for the freakish finish,
Tremaine
he would have been okay.
He got airbound and got the touch.
So what are they? Inside the 22. Old Collegians ball. Bit scrappy, but they managed to get it away. Paseka will just put his head down, pump those legs, make another couple of yards. Then they will come back into the pocket. It's basically a repeat of what we've seen. We've played all that rugby for nothing.
Absolutely.
All that rugby for now. Just to make you feel like you're at home. So there is Fleetwood Piper. He's a good little player, can finish as well, and we've seen that from him.
Strong and fast.
So Burnside lineup. Over the back to Marshall. Rather scrappy, but it makes its way to Rahale. Rahale will send it in field. Some questions about how high that tackle was, but it will be a knock-on anyway. Probably going to be one of those days. I think he did get one on the back of the head. Not sure who the number 12 for Burnside is. Like I said, my team sheets have just become Blue Peter models now. Well, you get the Blue Peter reference in in Australia. So Smedley will put the ball into the scrum. A little look on that blind side, I think. I think we could see this one come blind. Just a little nod of the head from Smedley.
Absolutely right.
They go out that way to Curtin. Curtin tackled. Atkins will range forward. He got away with a little knock on, but McQueen will pick and go, then to Smedley. Smedley will ship it on. Then it will go into midfield, into Josh Graham. Couldn't go high, so he went low that time. So Busby will look to kick to touch. Makes it eventually. You just saw on that kick. You've got to be really careful of that standing foot when you're kicking.
Yeah, it's getting pretty slippery out there now.
And it just takes away that power. And you've recently had, was it drainage you had put in, or was it the cabling for the lights?
Yeah, drainage last year and irrigation this year. So they've put some irrigation around the side and across the pitch to assist, and it's not stopped running since.
So Paseka takes it into midfield. Smedley sends it to Busby. Busby holds it short, then gives it to McQueen. McQueen will pop it to Curtin. Curtin drops it back inside to Fleetwood Piper, who puts it on the foot. Then it will just bounce around and bobble around. And then McQueen will go over and McQueen will score. Look how happy they are going over. It's not a bad ploy in weather like this. Put it on the ground because it's going to be messy.
It was a good option from Carl, just pushing it forward on the ground.
So we have a look at the replay. Good hands in this weather. Curtin asking for the switch. Got it.
Yeah, great shit.
You're turning people around in weather like this. You can just see how difficult it is.
Nice bounce there.
Worked well for McQueen. Always nice to see a big forward first one in there to celebrate. Showed he was good at running good running lines. Just slipping and sliding around there. Meredith nearly joined in the celebratory hug.
He had no choice.
Famously, I think there was a rugby league player who used to do that on purpose, just drag people into the group hug. Anyway, on the Wojtek scoreboard, 17 points to 12, 46 minutes gone with the kick to come. It's quite a bizarre feeling because we're now like almost completely enclosed and watching this on the monitor.
Is there a game of rugby going
and
out
it's
there?
just happening just out there. So Curtin sends it on its way. Will it come back? Flags go up. Yes, it will. 19 points to 12. Ah, there is a slow motion replay. You just see how difficult it is. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's chipped that up to himself. There you go. Big Josh Graham getting the first hug. Almost elbowing people out of the way to get the first one. Paseka, good catch in this weather, and fires it into the midfield. Out to Allo Emily. Shakes his way off the first one. Then finally dragged down. Smedley sends it out to Busby. Busby will fire it out to McQueen. That was a dangerous one. Intercepted by Elipa. Elipa will slide under the post. There's a celebration. That's what we like to see. That's what we pay the money for. Good job, young man. Great finish, great celebration. Pegging them back straight away.
Absolutely, yeah. He read it very well. Bit of a wide pass, and there you go.
Look at the smile on his face as he comes in as well. There is no better feeling though on a wet day than getting down and sliding along
20
on your front,
metres into the try line.
It's good fun. Just trying to see. He just telegraphed it a bit and then floated it.
Yeah, it was a bit of a soft pass.
Good finish. Great celebration. There we go. So Rahale will kick to try and level us up again. You want to see good close games, that's what we want.
Hopefully they've put some warm water in the water bottles now when they come out.
Nice cup of tea. So Rahale to even us up.
Slightly.
just drives through it, doesn't he? There's no messing around with him.
Oh, he's a great kicker.
Here we go. Now we get to see it in slow motion.
Big smile as
Big
well,
smile
yeah.
on his face.
I think the white
It's a
mouth guard
lovely
helps.
finish. There we go. And it's good to see the two youngsters as well
Absolutely,
enjoying their rugby.
Yeah.
So 19 points apiece on the Wojtek scoreboard.
Yeah, I think they're both second year. This is their second year as seniors now. They both came through the ranks of Burnside juniors.
That one is driven low and long. Josh Graham, who's had his name called a couple of times today. Lamsam sits in a halfback, picks and goes. It's almost a signature move from him. Doesn't give anybody a chance to get set. Another little pick and drive. Dawes will just drive him towards the sideline. Lamsam in again at halfback. Dawes goes through the middle. Then they will go out. Just about makes it over the gain line. Lamsam decided he wants to play halfback for the next couple of phases. It'll go out to Rahale. Puts it on the boot. Straight at Curtin. Doesn't take a bounce to Curtin once, but sits up for him. Can he beat the first chase in Rahale? He can't. Rahale just scrags him to ground.
Wow.
Big whistle for a penalty, not releasing. So, kickable. Yes. Let's see whether Rahale puts his hand up. He's got his hands on the ball. That's what I like to see.
Absolutely.
He's got the confidence. I'm the kicker.
Going for the corner.
You tell me what you want me to do. But he's there. And we're not seeing that with old Collegians at the moment. He will drive that one down into the corner. Just inside the 22, but it's certainly dangerous, dangerous territory for old Collegians. There's Phil Jones, smartly got his tracksuit top on. I think did he referee the reserve grade game? He did, didn't he?
Indeed, yeah.
So that's Sam Brook, I think.
Yeah.
Sure, it's Sam Brook.
It is.
Who will take this lineup. Tough day for the hookers as well, but he will find his target. He's been good in today's weather.
He's not missed his jumper all day.
Oh, well, the ball's ended up on the floor. Knock on. Old Collegians ball. It's always a good point as well, the scrummage. You have a little chat. If you're up on someone, you can let them know. Gary Mann just checking on the position of the camera. Always likes to know where the cameras are.
Be waving to his map.
Yeah. Oh, Smedley just dropped it. Just shows how wet that ball is. Big shove from Burnside. Has to come out, and it does. Dropped off inside to Burgess. Burgess will do the hard yards. Smedley sends it out to, is that Busby or Curtin?
Busby, yeah.
That's Busby.
Still trying to run it away though.
Oh, that one's charged down as well.
He's onside.
Picked up. Campion makes the first tackle. Lamsam stole it from Ashenford. And Ashenford's got to start laying the law down to Mr. Lamsam at the back. I got a job to do. You've got one as well. Clean out gets there eventually. Ashenford looks out to the left.
They've got.
Oh, just nicely slipped way through. Oh, the numbers out here. Ashenford gives it again. Stopped and propped. Little bit isolated, just about enough. Another whistle.
Going back over the field for a penalty by the looks of it. In Burnside's favour.
Is that the same signal from before?
I'm trying to work it out. It looks very similar. It was a point to the sky.
I don't know. I don't know what it
It was
is.
a penalty for the rain.
Yes. Now, Rahale now is looking for a tee. And there is the tee.
So just outside the 22, I think, yeah.
Yeah, he's on the angle, but very, very kickable, especially for him.
Burnside's 13's retrieving some treatment on this side of the pitch.
I saw him kick very, very well in that reserve grade game. The boy can kick. Speaking of kickers, actually, just as he gets ready for this, Carl Arnold,
Yep.
Peart's son. Geez, that boy can kick. I think he's playing under 14s at the moment.
He is playing under 14s. He slotted one from the touchline this morning. It was a fantastic kick.
Certainly one to watch for the future, I think.
Absolutely. And his brother's an equally good kicker in the under-12s.
Well, there you go.
Both playing 10 at the moment.
That won't lead to any fights when they hit seniors, will it? So Rahali again drives it at goal. Flag stay down. Well, he looks a bit ginger, but I don't think that's anything but cold. I think he's just cold and uncomfortable.
Did he freeze while he was kicking?
I don't know what's going on.
Keep moving, keep moving.
Yeah. He used to play games like this back in England when the rain had set in, and the coach would say that horrible phrase, 9-man rugby.
When you stood at 10.
As you pull on the number 14 shirt. Keep it safe, keep it close. Marshall sends it out to the right-hand side. Rahali much freer now. He's moving and running. Now he gets going and pushes it out to that right-hand side. Lamsam has to throw it back in, and it's nicked by Paseka. Paseka manages to turn it over.
Good turnover.
It's moving backwards though. Burnside with a very, very good counter up. Yeah. What dominance. He doesn't want any. It's his ball. Nobody else is allowed to play. He's close to the line. Then it's picked up by Marshall at the back. Another short ball just to the left. Old Cole showed in the first half they can deal with this. Rahali ships it to Devlin. Hit very, very hard by Alo Emily. Not sure Devlin wants to get up. He's taking his time to get up. Now it's coming. Are the numbers out to the left? Ashenford has a look. Decides he likes the right. Meredith ships it on, then goes and cleans out. Ashenford again will pick. Corralled by Josh Graham. You can hear the howls of derision from the old Collegians faithful. They don't agree with their under-18s coach. Little pick and drive to the left. Still there or thereabouts. Devlin, who seems to have shaken it off, will pick and drive. Still there, has slowed down a bit. Still 19 points apiece on the Wojtek scoreboard. Marshall will run the short angle back to the safety of the forwards. Ashenford out to the right-hand side to Rahali. Fires it into Sambrook. Sambrook will shake out of a couple. Can't get away from Graham. Graham working really hard to get out. Does get out. Devlin hit hard again there, I think. Must have a target on his front. Ashenford. Sends it to Marshall. Marshall, who's done the hard yards today.
He's been camped on this line for a while now.
Good number of phases. Ashenford out to the right-hand side. Sambrook again trying to roll his way out of it. Old Collegians so far standing firm. That you can't do that one. Someone wanted to... oh, it is Nigel Lamsam. You're not getting away with that one, Nigel.
Another penalty. He's going to go.
He's going to talk to Mr. Campion. He's going to have a chat.
Too many.
Well, I think that's a bit... I don't know. I haven't counted many. I think defensively they've been quite good. I don't think there's been many in there. Mr. Marshall's come over to chuck his £6 worth in there. To be honest, I didn't think that, you know, the number of penalties in that red zone was an issue. They've been good. They've been disciplined.
I think he's had 2 in relatively quick succession there for the same, so that's probably the reason why he's having a talk.
It's the high tackle as well, and I think they're just saying that one we get. We know that signal. Yeah. We've got that one. Rahali is going to have another kick at goal. I like that. Good decision making by Mr. Marshall, Blair Marshall. There's no, once you've got the penalty, kick it. Have trust, have faith in your kicker. I don't know whether, and that's his younger brother,
absolutely.
I think, isn't it? Carrying the tee.
Yeah, currently injured. He injured his shoulder in the state trial.
It was, yeah, I was there then. Very early on, like first time he touched the ball.
First tackle in the state trial, yeah.
You can just see that patio, standing room only, up there.
They're all huddling around the bain-marie.
Yeah, the poor people down at the front, you can't get any room in there. So as we approach the hour mark, Rahale will kick a goal.
Yep.
This time the flags go up. They took the time putting them up, but the flags will go up. Add on another 3 points for Burnside. 22 points to 19. So while we are still doing this, and I normally do it in the wrap-up at the end, but I think it's a special case today, I'm just going to thank our camera operators. Down away to our right, the right of your screen we have Kelly. To the left of our screen we have Nicola. And up above, doing the overhead work, we have Carl and Murray. And I have to tell you that none of them have shelter. Meredith makes his way to the 22. Ashenford does a lamb sam.
Shouldn't be coming through the middle there.
No, he shouldn't, but he is entitled to. Good counter up by Graham and makes Burnside, forces them to play. Another offload, but doesn't go to hand. I don't think we're in danger of having a brown team versus a brown team just yet. I have seen some of them in South Australia, but I don't think we're going to have that issue just yet.
It's starting to lay on the ground now. And it's cold enough for snow as well.
It might be. What did it say? It was 9 degrees, feels like 6.
6, yeah. That was half an hour ago.
That will not be comfortable out there. I would be interested, I know, I would be interested to see whether we could get a slow motion close-up of when the kick is kicked, just to see what happens with the standing foot and see whether we can get an idea of just how slippery it is out there. We did see it with the McQueen try, that underfoot it's starting to get there, and it's what we talked about before. And I think as well, because you've got the irrigation trenches, they're just getting a little bit of water pooling in those trenches.
Absolutely, it's sinking a little bit. Middle of the ground was okay. During the morning, it was more soggy on the outsides, but not sure where Phil's going.
Could be worse though. Could be worse. We could be playing at Burnside. To be honest, I think on a day like today, Burnside would be almost unplayable in the middle. I know they've done a lot of work on it, but it's still there. That cricket pitch is still there.
Looks like I've got an injury on that side. That's what the breaking
I'm
plays.
just trying to see who it is. We're both kind of ducking down to try and work it out.
That might be Chris Bisaker, I think.
Well, that's no good. He's giving you a lot of go. No, Chris
No,
Bisaker's
Chris
still
is
here.
Might be David Allow-Emily again.
Yeah, he's still there, so it must be David Allow-Emily, which is a change in the front row, I think. Kyle Fleetwood Piper just running around in the background. Actually, you can see them all running shuttle runs and jumping up and down, just trying to keep. Oh, geez, you're brave, David.
I think, as you said earlier, I think the rain set in now.
Yeah, it's here now.
Puddles forming on the side of the pitch.
Yeah. I'm pleased we made the decision to bring the top down. I think we're about to be joined by an assistant referee in here because it's not good out there. We just get ready. It's absolutely hilarious that the players in the background are running shuttles just to try and keep themselves warm. In fact, the only person, I cannot believe he's taking his shirt off. So he's getting his shoulder looked at. It is David Allow-Emily who's out there, just getting his shoulder taped. I'm not sure how well that's going to go because it's wet out there. I don't know what it's going to stick to.
He's a brave man.
Now he's got to get that shirt back on.
Cold and clammy.
There we go. Oh, grimace there. Made of tough stuff though.
Absolutely.
Samoan heritage.
Indeed.
Brother plays for Samoa, and I think he played a bit of Super Rugby as well.
Yeah, over the Rebels, and I think he's in France now. So. Be interested to see what the weather's like in the Aussie Island game tonight over in Melbourne.
Colder.
Colder.
I think. They were talking snow on some of the Victorian ranges.
Where are they playing? Amy Park, so they're not undercover either, are they?
No, I think it's a bit late to move it to Etihad.
Yeah.
France playing New Zealand in New Zealand. I think it'll be cold down there because all of the weather is coming from the southeast apparently. Loopy pass from Smedley into midfield. McQueen will try and wriggle away. Gives it to Busby. Busby will send it out to Curtin. Curtin will send it one more to Atkins. He is bundled into touch. Mr. Pienaar still toughing it out in the short sleeves. Not even an undershirt. Tough South African man. Actually, it is pleasing to note there's not many long sleeve shirts out there from either of the sides. I'm only saying that because I definitely would have gone the long sleeves today.
Body armour, undergarments, you name it.
The whole lot.
Yep. Heated head guards.
So another driving more. Lamsam driving it from the back. Now they can get going and they will get going. Lamsam looking to slide off. Does slide off. Can't do that.
No.
Chuck and trailer, Nigel. As soon as the maul disengages, you can't make another one. You can ask him as many times as you want, Nigel. It's not going to happen. So Burnside Old Collegians. 65 minutes gone on the Wojtek scoreboard. 1 point the difference on the Wojtek scoreboard. Could they deal with another 1 point loss?
It's actually 2
in two home games. Was it? Yeah, 19. Yeah,
22.
Should be 22.
Should be 22, yeah, for the penalty.
This is something, it's a discussion point, do we say, about 1 point for a penalty, just to, you know,
6 points for a try.
Encourage try scoring. So Old Collegians line out. Little swap, goes over the top to Josh Graham, who'll just turn and go. Makes another good couple of yards. Picked up by Elo Emily, lost by Elo Emily. Wonder how much that shoulder injury would affect him. Lamsam picks and drives, goes through a couple. Box kick will go. Bounces around. What can Curtin do? Does very, very well. Very clean hands. Sends it to Fleetwood Piper, who steps through the middle of two. Then will run round the outside. Has McQueen outside it. McQueen will drop it cold. Oh, Alex McQueen. Where's the reverse button? Rewind. Do it again. Oh, Alex. I think he'd spent it.
Well and truly. He scored before he caught it.
But that shows you the danger of Fleetwood Piper in the open space.
Well, he broke his first tackle and gave him some space.
Well, he ran through the first two, stepped on the angle, ran through the first two, then a lovely arc around the outside. Another delay. Is
Burnside
that David Allen? Burnside injury.
Burnside this time.
Just trying to see who it is.
Possibly a chilblain injury. Or frostbite.
Just bring me a blanket. I don't need treatment. Bring me a blanket. But it stopped as quickly as it stopped. As quickly as it started. It almost feels like the sun's trying to break through. So we wait for this scrum. Ashenford has ball in hand. I think we're up and running again. The Burnside player making his way back towards the scrum. It's one of the second rowers.
Number 19, I think it was.
Zach Ellis is the number 19. Good drive from Old Collegians, pushing them backwards, picked up. Away, back to Rahale, who will send it downfield into the arms of the dangerous Fleetwood Piper, who just fires it into midfield to Curtin. Curtin will loop it over the top. Just asked a little bit much of Atkins, who was immediately under pressure from Alippa.
Again, yeah. On for the breakaway again.
He just wants to talk to Mr. Pinar again, see what was going on, and we're just going to go back for that knock on. So, scrum on halfway. Thankfully out of that little patch in the middle. It's starting to cut up a little bit. Will be a Burnside ball. You'd almost regret, you almost wouldn't want the coach to call your name and tell you to go warm up because you're about to go on. No, I'm good. So 22-19 on the Wojtek scoreboards, just as we approach 70 minutes.
Tackle.
Good tackle in midfield, but it's still there. Lamsam into half-back again. We'll send it out to Meredith. Meredith will send it to Green. Green puts it on the boot. Bobbles around back there. Burgess does very, very well and cleans it up. Then it will be sent into midfield. Gary Mann just offloads out the back to the King of Green Hill Road. He's held up. Haven't heard the maul called. Got to get down. Does get down eventually. Ball's going to come out. Smedley sends it into midfield. Little one back inside. Lamsam will stand up his opposite number. Smedley again will send it out to McQueen. McQueen will send it on one more to Paseka. Paseka just flips it out the back to Piper. Fleetwood Piper sends it inside. Burgess now can get galloping away. McQueen will drop another one. That one wasn't McQueen's fault. That's that was just behind him. Apologies for the language. I'm assuming that was Mr. McQueen. Just a little bit of a language warning. And as we speak, the sun has broken through on that far side. And we're probably going to be treated to an absolutely glorious sunset after quite possibly the worst conditions we've ever seen. Was that a substitution or another injury? Burnside just going into a little huddle before the scrum.
What have we got? 9 minutes left.
Scrum, Burnside ball, 9 minutes left. 19 points to 22. So, what can Old Collegians do? They did show in the last scrum that they've got power going forward. They need to drop the gear now.
There's a couple of breaks down this side, so they're actually going for the game. So.
Now they get a little bit of a shove on. Front rows have stood up. Into midfield. Dropped. Meredith has to clean it up. Fires it out the back to Rahali. Rahali will put it on the boot. Okay. Straight down the throat of Curtin. Curtin will fire it over to this near side. Little bit of aerial ping pong. Into the arms of Meredith. Meredith versus Fleetwood Piper. Oh. Fleetwood Piper monsters. Sean Meredith. Two people who played together in the under-20s setup. Sean Meredith comes up from about 6 foot under. So Sean Meredith shaped hole in the pitch. Ashenford out to Rahali. Rahali will send it out to that right-hand side. So they just try and shake their way through the tackles. They have crossed halfway. Ashenford again. Has Marshall for him. Marshall again will run the line back towards the forwards. Sealing off. It did feel like he was a little bit isolated, and that kind of leads to people doing stuff that they shouldn't do at a breakdown. Or they've decided to go. McQueen will send it to Campion. Campion inside ball. Dodgy one, but it gets there eventually. Smedley had a couple of bites at it, gets it. McQueen will send it inside to Mann. Mann will run through the first one, then take 3 or 4 Burnside players with him into the Burnside, cross the Burnside 10-metre line, not releasing. Oh, that's play on. That's
it's all going on now.
It's all gone crazy. Just a little bit of discussion, I think, between Mr. Smedley and I think it's Fraser Green. Well, he said play on, and then called offside.
Absolutely.
So has he done him for the not 10? Well,
I'm not not sure. He did call penalty for a holding on
He
to
did.
start with, and then
Ashingford tried to play, dropped it. Then he said play on, and then he's penalised them for not 10.
Yeah, doesn't really make sense, that one.
I think we got there. I think we got the right decision in a roundabout way. Here we see
the big tackle.
Kyle Fleetwood Piper challenge just straight up. I think Sean Meredith got up afterwards and said, was that not I? And no, it wasn't, Sean. I'm not sure that Sean will be allowed to forget that one. Now we've got it in super slow
motion, absolutely.
So, line out to Burnside. Little bit of movement.
Good line out.
Marshall does everything he can to try and get it back to Lamsam. Lamsam has to tidy it up, and that's gone forward. Coughed up to Paseka. Then it will be going out to the left-hand side. Atkins comes back in. Jesh Graham again doing the hard yards, doing the hard work. Out to Campion. Loops it over the top to Fleetwood Piper. Fleetwood Piper will run through the first one, run away from the second one. Fraser Green does enough. Green had to make that tackle and did. Old Collegians now starting to threaten a little bit. Busby will step back inside, then it'll just pop out.
Starting to push
I
the
think
game
that's
now.
an offside signal. Yes,
Yep.
that's offside.
He used his right hand.
See, again, that is kickable.
Take 3 to draw it.
It's kickable.
Go to the corner.
They are going to corner.
Over.
Okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they're looking for the win.
Absolutely. They need to come away with points, though. 4 minutes
So
to go.
it's inside the 22. 4 minutes to go on the Wojtek scoreboard. 3 points of difference on the Wojtek scoreboard. It's been a wet and wild day here at Tregenza Oval.
Yeah, I think Trenchfoot's just about set in.
Well, they do call it the Battle of Green Hill Road, and it has been a battle today. It certainly has a battlefield look about it. Old Cole's lineup. Just simple ball to the front. Try and build that maul, which they have. Allo Emily is at the back. That number 1 has to come away, and then it's been collapsed, but play on. Smedley rolls it towards midfield. Not a great pull. Picked up and cleaned up by Mann. Smedley, better ball out to Campion. Campion will just rumble forward, take a couple with him.
Building.
Burnside player, very, very slow to roll away, but slows it down enough. Smedley asking the question, gives it to McQueen. McQueen has a lot of making up to do, in fairness. If you're going to score a try, now is a good time. Just a little bit of pick and go. Then another pick and go out to that right-hand side. That is McQueen, I think, who went with the pick and go. Then Tim Dawes will knock on it. That's where they are. What have they got? What's Burnside's back to the walls defence? Still in there. Still pick and driving. Lamsam on the wrong side now. Where is the ball? There it is.
Nick Howlett.
Nick Howlett has it. There's a Burnside hand on it. Someone needs to see that Burnside hand. There's an advantage. Do you know, that's close for me to a yellow card. It's cynical and it's professional. He knows he can't do it. Campion slow to get up, holding that left knee.
What do you call here, Dave? Scrum? Go to the corner.
The line out has been working okay, and they were good. They were good in that last line out. I thought they were unlucky not to get a penalty off that one. The one came around all the way around the side.
Yep. And then dragged it down as well.
And then it was dragged down. So what are they now? 5 to 7 meters out?
Minute to go.
Minute to go. 3 minutes on the scoreboard. Oh, you could just see us. Put my hand out and wave. Hello.
It's like we're in Teletubby land.
It's great. Anyway, line out. 5 to 7 out. Campion has to be clean, is clean, decides to go. I think he thought that Burnside were going to leave him alone.
Looked like it.
So he decided to go. Dawes will pick. Body angle wasn't great, but he fought hard.
Needs some more.
Smedley. Out to Allo Emily. Allo Emily will try his best to run through the first one. Good tackle. Another little pick and drive. McQueen again, desperate to make up for that drop, you would think. Another pick and drive. Got to be careful not to succumb to white line fever. They are over the line or very, very close to it. Held up, I think. Scrum 5, Old Collegians ball. A little bit of discussion between McQueen and Carlos. So 5 metre scrum, fairly decent blindside as well, you would think. Would you run an isolation play, Fleetwood Piper against the green?
Possibly, but Collegians have been fairly strong in the scrum in the second half, so you might get one of your pushovers.
Oh, that's a long pushover. It's 5 metres, isn't it? No, sorry, that's my bad. Yeah, well, we haven't seen one yet, I don't think, on any of the broadcasts. You just see Fraser Green in the front of your Pritchett there.
Oh, we're further out than I thought. Okay.
Well, they've now moved Curtin over here. That is a very dangerous blindside with Curtin and Fleetwood Piper. We are in red time. So we are on the referee's time. Burnside drive hard. The front row just did not get set. The Cold front row did not get set.
He's called it again.
Watching that one, I'm not sure whether we've got a replay. The entire Old Coles front row just seem to have their feet underneath them.
Yeah, they buckled back.
Just have a look here.
Is it a question of pushing before the ball?
I'm not sure. I mean, it's an immense scrum.
No, the ball's in.
They've destroyed that front row.
Yeah,
just see Allo Emily almost collapse.
It was a very well-timed scrum. The pressure came on at the right time.
Oh, the only question I would have was whether they drove up. But if they drove up, it would be a penalty, not a reset. So I think Carlos just said, I don't like the look of that one, let's do it again. Anyway, Old Collegian scrum, still got that blind side.
Come on.
Oh, it's fired between the legs. Will make its way out to Fleetwood Piper. But forward.
There you go.
Oh, don't end on another brain explosion. I don't know whether there's time. We'll see what they do here. Are they asking for a scrum? Oh, it's a forward pass. Sorry, not a penalty. So they'll have the scrum. Just not sure.
As he threw his legs forward. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's what he's done.
He just lost his bearing slowly.
So, scrum down.
Scrum and kick it out.
Well, yeah, it's, we've been here before with Burnside. Rahali may have seen the pictures, and my advice to Rahali, if time is done, just turn around and kick it out the back, son. No, Ashenford, just turn around and kick it out the back. There's a pick and drive. Don't turn it over. Still there. Gone back to Rahali. Rahali has a chance down. It's out the back. Oh. History repeats itself.
The Brighton Burnside game.
Is he given a 5 metre scrum?
For a knock on? A charge down, surely.
It's a 22.
He's gonna...
It has to be a 22.
Even the players are saying 22.
Everybody's saying 22. Oh, just history.
Charged down by Jess Graham.
Gets
He's
there,
had an outstanding
and then he's
game.
touched it down, so it's a 22.
What?
Yeah, it's 22. Because the charge down goes in, then Rahali touches it down, it's a 22. Now, I always remember this rule because there was a very, very famous sending off. You can't kick it directly into touch. You can't end the game that way. So it has to hit the ground if it's going to go. Oh, it's going to come back to them. Campion picks it up, rolls across the 10. Hit hard, works hard to get to ground, does get to ground. Do we have a finish? Good counter ruck from Burnside. Great counter ruck from Burnside. Now there's space on this left-hand side. Just decides to go straight and hard. Hits the halfway line. Ashenford sends it out. Still not kicking it out. They must have been told that it's not the last play yet. Wonder whether there's an advantage for a high tackle. Ashenford is there again. Still not going out. To Rahali. Rahali will chip it towards the dangerous Curtin. Curtin fires it out to the open side. Now McQueen. What can McQueen do? McQueen lost his footing, gives it to Atkins. Atkins will skip out of the first one. Then he will cross halfway. Old Collegians with the final bite to the cherry, maybe. McQueen into halfback. Sends it to Smedley. Smedley will send it to Dawes. Dawes stands strong, rolls out of the tackle, gets to halfway. Burnside hands on it. I think is that Paseka who's come out the back of it. Campion has to clean it up and go. Smedley again. It was Paseka. Out to McQueen. McQueen looks the other side. Saw the player lurking, so decides to come back into safety. Hello, Emily. Dawes will hurdle like a gazelle through midfield. Then it will go again. Tired players everywhere. There's bodies strewn everywhere. McQueen met hard and behind the gain line. Now it will go again. Ball still there, still in Old Collegians' possession. Not rolling away. Penalty. Now they can go for the line out. Do they have the legs? I think the rain is returning. The rain is returning. Oh, just don't kick it dead. So they're a fair way out. They're outside of driving maul range, but they could get some yardage.
There's obviously some time added on for David Allo-Emily's injury.
There is. 85 minutes gone on the clock. So we are on the referee's watch. We don't know when it's going to end. Could be any second. 3 points the difference. I think Burnside was sitting on top of the table, just on points difference. Old Collegians were in fourth. It's been a topsy-turvy table this year. Graham, he will turn and go, held up by a couple. One of them's got hold of him by his head. Big tough boy though, he doesn't mind. Now they will go again. Oh, that's good hands in this weather. Smedley. Again, a little bit loopy to Busby. Busby will send it into midfield. Dragged out the back to Fleetwood Piper. Fleetwood Piper will find a little bit of room. Ship it one more to Atkins. Then it will go to ground. Curtin stands in at halfback. Sends it to Smedley. Sends it to Mann. They have crossed the 22. Burnside have got hands on it. Whistle. Time off.
What's he given?
Not sure. Has he got a report from the touch judge? I think he might have a report for the touch judge for the Josh Graham thing, maybe.
Because of the head.
Because of the head.
Although Jesh has had an outstanding game for Collegians.
Both your second rows have.
Yeah.
I mean, not that Jack Campion needs any more. He doesn't need his tyres pumping up any more than they already are. What's the call? I think, is he giving him the choice? It's a penalty there. Again, the line-out has been good, the driving maul has been good, but they've gone.
3 points was a draw.
Well, we're not playing for draws now. Jess Graham adds his name to the list of times that I've called him out again. Paseka has to work hard to get to ground, does get to ground. Was there a release?
There you go.
Oh, I don't know. Who are they patting on the head? Because I don't know. I didn't see a release, but Carlos is closer than I am. If we see a tap, that will be it. I think that's it. Tap, go out the back, Sean Meredith says. It's the best idea.
They're all pointing.
Yeah, Rahale, just tap it, kick it out the back. Tap, kicked out the back, that'll be that. Two very, very close ones for all Collegians in the space of 2 broadcast games, a week in between them. 19 points to 22 is the final score on the Wojtek scoreboard. Old Collegians probably lose a heartbreaker here. That's not going to help them. They will need to get going forward again, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to have to get out of your way very, very quickly just because of this weather. From me, Dave Webb, and Chris Killick, we will speak to you again next week. Good night from Tregenza Oval.
Good night.